All right. April 27th, it's Saturday. Took a trip yesterday down to see our buddy Joe, Joe Wallace, down in Waterville, Ohio. He's the guy that hooked us up with the brake system for this cart that only had back brakes. He gave us a whole bunch of stuff, folks. We bought a few things, but ended up, you know, getting a bunch of free stuff. Thanks, Joe. I really appreciate it. And without your help, I would never be able to get this thing up and running without spending a ton of money. So I appreciate it. I really do. We're going to put all this stuff to good use. So we're putting the brakes on. Putting on the brakes on the brake portion of this project. Joe gave us a 50 millimeter axle so we can use the 50 millimeter rear rotor and hub. And this is a twofold blessing, because now we'll be able to put the 50 millimeter on. He gave us the cassettes and bearings as well. Some longer hubs in case, you know, we need to get the right wheel width, rear track width. He gave us some magnesium hubs, which will clean up and be real nice. He gave us the bearings and cassettes, right? So those will clean up and everything. They feel like they're okay. Haven't really got deep into this. This is the biggest improvement, I think, alone right here, is this CRG steering shaft. It's a little longer than this one, but look, folks, it's going to do what we want to do without even doing any cutting or welding. So we won't know for sure till we get this one off and we can compare them. But it right away, just initially, looks like Joe hooked us up with that too. That's something we'll have to purchase, but it's no big deal. We made a cut a deal on a bunch of other stuff. He gave us some older, I guess people refer to these as a master cylinder. This is actually a slave cylinder. There's no reservoir built into these, right? There's no valving to them like a Paul Martin, where you put fluid on top. You see the two little holes in the bottom of the reservoir part of the master cylinder. That is the valving of when the piston on these things move. This is a slave cylinder. It'll only push the fluid that's in it. When you press on the brakes and then let go, it doesn't refill as your brake pads wear. That's why this stuff usually came on carts, Italian carts, with the return spring brake pads, so they wouldn't have to have a reservoir type true master cylinder. Don't know if we'll get to use those for anything, but it's like I told Joe. I'm sorry about the camera. It's like I told Joe, this kind of stuff we can pay forward. If we know somebody that needs it and can use it, we've been known to give things away as well. The blessing continues, right? By paying it forward. Whole bunch of stuff here. Look at this. This isn't just a box with, say some spark plugs or something in it. It's a Micron 4. It's a single temp. He used this on his spare cart before he bought a Micron 5 for it. Got a water temp on there. It's got the lap timer. Nice piece. Then he gave us the expansion box. This he just threw in for free, and he put batteries into the old Micron 3, and showed us that this worked as well. See? So 82 degrees. Nice, very nice. Thanks, Joe. I mean, it's super cool. We traded this stuff for a weekend of track testing. So I don't want anyone that does these track days with us or closed private tests with us to think that Joe's getting a freebie. He traded me this stuff, and I have to pay for his position, his spot on, you know, in the group. So, you know, I'm paying for it, but it's still pretty good deal. 2 days is $375. So this was $225. This one was $150, right? Basically is how we do a 2-day deal. The first day costs $225. The second day is a bonus at $150. Super pleased with this too. He got us some new front brake pads for those particular front brakes. So that's a bonus. See, I'm having a problem with this camera, Brent. Doing more of this and less of this causes me to not pay attention to the camera so much, and I'm sorry about that, folks. Pads fit this system. What we're going to do is we'll shake it down. We won't put the new pads on until we get new rotors. I will spend $500 on this thing for new rotors if it means everything is going to be brand new. You know what I'm saying? But we got to get it in a condition so we can shake it down. A whole bunch of stuff here, like I said, bearings, cassettes, everything to go 50 millimeter, except the sprockets. But wait, there's more. Joe gave me some they're well used, but still good, especially just for testing. 50 millimeter sprockets, as you can see. Know if the numbers are on here or not. He counted out there was a 20, a 21, a 22, and a 23, I think. And that should be right in the wheelhouse. There's a 21. That should be right in the wheelhouse of what we're looking for gearing. I figured a 20 and a 21. So here's a 21, probably 22. See if this one's the same size as this one. Yeah, I think that one's the same size. So maybe two 22s and a 23. That's what it might look like. But that gives us all the options that we'll need with a 17, 18, and 19 countershaft sprocket, which we have for our Vortex. We have 17, 18, 19. So with all this combination, we'll know by going to the track and testing what gear is going to work for Grattan. You can remove a tooth or not for a Mid-Ohio. Grattan Nelson the same. Pittsburgh might be a little bit, but I mean, we'll have every option we need. So we'll try these to get it right, and then we can buy steel sprockets. I like the steel. Joe prefers the steel as well. They're just far more durable. These are 40s, so they won't work. But we can get them from Mondo. We can get them from any kart shop in the U.S., and they're relatively cheap. They're about $50 or so a whack. Anywhere between, I would say, $48 and $62 a whack, which is not bad. Now that we've got an axle, we've got a hub. For the rotor, we've got wheel hubs. $100, a couple hundred, maybe $200 for 4 sprockets, new sprockets, for not a bad deal. So I'm guessing now, buying steel sprockets, new rotors, and brake pads for the rear in case, you know, what he gave me for rear I can't alter, because we can cut the backing plate on some of these. He gave me a set of brake pads. They're here somewhere. Maybe a pile of fuel line or something. I didn't even notice that when we were loading this stuff up. A bunch of casters and then fixed wheels for cart stands or something. Bunch of very good stuff here. So yeah, we'll get it worked out where I think for maybe, I don't know, maybe $600-700. This thing will be new and ready to go, man. All the running gear will be new, brakes and all that stuff. The rear end will be good to go. We just got to work on getting the engine on this thing, and I'm working on that right now. Cut a piece of real thick cardboard. It's Kool-Aid box from the kids' drinks, and what I did is we'll use this to show you. Pretend this is the bottom of the engine laying on its side with the 8 bosses, thread bosses I took some Vaseline and rubbed it on the boss and then sat it on the paper, and it'll leach into the paper, and that'll give me all the holes I'm gonna need. I can transfer this to a piece of aluminum and make the plate that's gonna go between the motor mount and the engine itself, and we'll be on our way. All we'll have to do after that is work something up for that clutch perch, right? So, little at a time, work. Out here playing around trying to get things in place. We're going to tear that rear end out of there and put the 50 in. Like I said, the double fold blessing of this here is the Larry Kart. Its axle was completely botched and needed to be replaced, and now this one literally looks like it's new. So look, thanks Joe. Yeah, these parts are going to go there. It's saving us not just a ton of time and effort and money. Yeah, I'm digging it. I'm getting a little emotional. So it's strange how, you know, how not strange, but how God works and he pulls things off. Yeah, nice trip down to Waterville yesterday. Joe lives in a really cool little neighborhood. I never expected that. I thought he lived out in the sticks like I do, but still, when you're out in the backyard in the garage, you wouldn't know. Thanks again, Joe. You're the man. So, Blue Demon Kart, we got some work to do, but we got the parts we need. We're going to get busy. Hang in there, y'all. It'll get better. Look at that.